Hey guys, so if you're like a lot of my viewers, you want to know what PC you should buy in 2019 in order to play Fortnite or other games. Today is the day for you. I'm going through all the PCs, did a whole lot of research. This is my passion. I love computers. I put a lot of research into this. I have like a breakdown of about 6 PCs and all different budget points, all kinds of things for Fortnite and other games. So if you want to know what computer you should buy in 2019 to play Fortnite or to game on PC, you've been wondering about it, this is the video for you. So first, we're going to go through some minimum requirements for Fortnite. So a lot of you guys play on, maybe you play on mobile, maybe you play on console, maybe currently you're playing on like a Nintendo Switch. There's a lot of issues you've probably had on Fortnite. Maybe you only game at like 30 FPS and it's hard, the controls are hard on the screen and all that, so you want to upgrade. Well, if you're looking to do PC and really improve the cap on how good you can get in Fortnite, you have to first get a PC. So let's go through what you need for a PC in 2019. So this is from Fortnite. This is their recommended and minimum settings requirements. So if you look at the minimum settings requirements, these are like basically any laptop built after like, or almost any laptop, any PC could pretty much play Fortnite at extremely low settings. All the settings all the way down. Maybe you're not even at 720p, like you'd probably be playing at like 480p. That is the very, very, very minimum it takes to run the game. You do not want to go with those settings. If you do, a couple of updates later, and actually Fortnite just did an update a little bit back where they just raised their minimum system requirements to play Fortnite in Season 9. So if you get that minimum system requirement, anything on that list, you're pretty much like guaranteed to have to buy another computer very soon after. So you may be able to play, if you already have something like that, you may be able to play on it, but if you are doing it, you'll know that like it's probably really rough. And then we look at the recommended system requirements. So we got NVIDIA GTX 660 or AMD Radeon. So that is just that's just your graphics card, and those are like the very, very lowest NVIDIA and AMD graphics cards that will let you run Fortnite. So then we have the DX11 GPU. That, don't worry about that. 2 gigabytes of VRAM. So that's dedicated RAM to your GPU, your graphics card. The ones we'll be looking at today have at least 3 gigs of dedicated RAM. We have Core i5 2.8 gigahertz. So that Core i5 would be like any Intel Core i5 from about 2000, I believe, like 16 on should be able to pass that. And 8 gigs of RAM. And then Windows 7, etc. Through 10. So we are not going to be looking at that because that will still allow you to barely run 720p, maybe hitting 60 frames per second. What we're looking for is at least 720p, 60 frames per second, hard. That way it won't drop down to 20 every time you get in a fight. We don't want any issues like that. So we'll be going through PCs today that should keep you running for a little while, at least several years at least. Yeah, so I have a breakdown. What really matters is your budget. So depending on your budget, it kind of determines what you'll be able to get. If you just want a PC, maybe you're getting a PC for Christmas, maybe you're getting something like that. What you're going to be looking at is these first ones. So the first one I'm going to show you guys is, let me get it up. The first one I'm going to show you guys is the iBUYPOWER. It's an iBUYPOWER gaming PC on Amazon. It has an AMD FX 6300. Basically any AMD FX is the very low end of the AMD cards. There's AMD and there's Intel. The low end of the AMD cards are like FX 63 or 80 or 80 something else. And then in GPUs it has an AMD Radeon RX 550. So that is over there with those bare minimum system requirements. This is the one on there with 2 gigabytes of VRAM. And then it has 8 gigs of DDR3, a terabyte hard disk drive, and that is about it, guys. If you want the most budget PC you can get, this is the one for you. However, I would caution you and warn you that this DDR3 is being phased out. Right now we're currently on DDR4. As of like DDR3 is like 4 or 5 years old, or 4 years probably since we switched over to DDR4. Also, this 8 gigabytes of RAM is going to need upgraded moderately soon. This is basically like the recommended system requirements that we saw on that page. This one will not last you very long. I only recommend this if you have the lowest budget possible for a PC. This is what you kind of go for with the very, very lowest budget. If you can spend any more than this, say your parents will bundle your Christmas and birthday gifts together or something. I don't know how to do it, but if you can spend any more than this, $539, I recommend that you go with our second PC, which is $599. It's only like 50 bucks. I'm bad at math, but it's only like 50 bucks more expensive. And this one has a 1050 Ti, which is NVIDIA's lowest of the last generation. Well, it's not the lowest because it's the Ti version. So this should run Fortnite at 720p, 60 frames per second. It should even do 1080p, 60 frames per second if you are have some settings set to low. If you set all your settings all the way up in Fortnite, which I don't recommend anyways, I don't run them all the way up. I run them all down because I just want to see the people. So if you run low settings, this should get you 1080p, 60 frames per second. Guys, this has a Ryzen 1200, which is better than the last PC CPU. This has the GTX 1050 Ti, 4 gigabytes of dedicated graphics card memory, and then it still has 8 gigabytes of RAM, but it's DDR4. So this means that when you go to upgrade it in the future and put more RAM in it so you can run more processes at the same time, maybe play some other games, you can upgrade it easily because it's already DDR4 and the motherboard is already DDR4, so you're good to go. Moving on, if $599, if all you have to spend is $600, this is the one for you. And you guys want to get Honey. I have a Honey. It's an extension for Google Chrome. It basically gives you price changes, so it'll tell you when it dropped, when it raised, like what the price has been over time. Maybe you want to wait till Black Friday to get a PC. Maybe you want to wait until Christmas. But if you see here, like at this time, July 11th, it was $699. Right now, it's $599. Way back in June, it says it was $371. So like you never know what deals you can find by just looking on a day where there's deals. Like maybe on Prime Day it was cheaper. Moving on now to the next up, if you want a game 1080 with 60 frames per second or higher. This one is where you really start to get serious. This one has real parts that are going to last you like 3 to 4 or 5 years. This is an iBUYPOWER again. It has an Intel i5 9400F. So Intel has 3 different sections of CPUs for gaming. They have the i3, that is, you do not want to use an i3. i3 will not work very well with Fortnite or most games. i5 is where it really starts. The 9400 means that this came out last year. This is last year's CPU. It's excellent. Anything with a 9 in the beginning on an Intel CPU is like the last year's card. So this is going to be a pretty good i5. And then we're running a NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1060 3GB. So even though this has 1 gigabyte less of dedicated memory, it is actually significantly better than that 1050 Ti on the last PC. This one is where you can start streaming. This one is where you can run dual monitors, dual 1080p monitors. You should be able to get really good frame rates. On low settings, you might even get to 120 FPS. And then you can run like a 120 hertz monitor and the 120 frames, and it'll look beautiful. Like that is what you're really shooting for if you want to get competitive with Fortnite. It has 1 terabyte Intel 660p NVMe. So this is faster boot up times. This SSD NVMe. This means faster boot up times, faster times loading into the game, faster everything. So anything you do on this PC is going to be faster than any of the previous ones that just had hard disk drives. It again has 8 gigabytes of DDR4. So DDR4 that means that you can upgrade easily in the future and you don't need to worry about being stuck with DDR3. So I recommend this one. Honestly, if you are looking into PC gaming and you want to get a PC that will last you a good amount of time, this is like the sweet spot. $900 is the sweet spot right now. This is the PC for you. It actually has the same case as my PC. This is the same like case around it as my PC has. It's going to last you a good amount of time. This is a great PC. I recommend it. Alternatively, a 1660 Ti is also released this year, I believe. This one would do just as well, and it's the same price. So once you click on the link, you can do either one of these. Honestly, they're so close to the same that it doesn't matter. But I would get the 1660 if I was going to buy this today. All right, next one now. So this is price bump a little bit. That's why I said 900 was the sweet spot. So now we're over $1,000. So for over $1,000, we get an AMD Ryzen 7, which is AMD's like some of their best CPUs, and then we get an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2060. So 2060 is the more recent graphics card than the 1060. It's a slight bump in performance. This is going to get you also 120 frames per second on 1080. You might even be able to game at 2K at 60 FPS. We're looking at 16 gigs of RAM. This is the real big upgrade from the last one, is that this one has 16 gigs of RAM instead of 8, so double. And then it has 2 terabytes of hard disk drive. So that means that you have tons of storage. If you like to clip your gameplay or something, you can clip it to your heart's content. 2 terabytes will hold a lot of storage. And then it has a 240 gigabyte SSD, and that's going to be for booting up your computer faster and just loading into the game faster. So you're going to want to install Fortnite on that SSD, and you're going to want to, and Windows is going to install on the SSD. So when you press your power button, Windows should boot up in less than like 15 seconds, and then your game should boot up way faster. You know, sometimes people get into games way faster than you, and you're like, man, how did he get into the game so fast? Or like maybe you load in on mobile and you don't actually get into the game until you're already on the bus. Well, with this SSD, you'll be sure to get into the game a lot faster than most people that are playing. This is awesome. If you have this kind of money to spend, this PC would be great. Like, honestly, great PC if you have this kind of money. So guys, the next PC I'm going to show you is actually the one that I have personally. Right now, I wouldn't completely recommend getting it just because there's newer ones out for about the same price. But this next one is my PC. So if you guys are wondering what I use, this is it. So I use a Intel i7 8700K, which has been a great processor for me. I even overclocked mine, and then I have a RTX 2080, and that allows me to run a 2K monitor for the game and a 1080p monitor for my chat and everything else for streaming. And this also allows me to get 144 Hertz on this monitor and 144 frames per second. It also comes with a 1 terabyte solid state drive. My boot up times on this computer are incredibly fast, and also I get into the games super quick, load into Fortnite super quick. I've had no issues with this PC. It's been rock solid. If you have this kind of money to spend, this is the PC for you. This is what I have. This is an awesome PC. I don't have a single problem with this PC. I love it. It's treated me really well. I've had it for about 6 months now, and I have had no issues. So please, if you're into the 2080, if you want to get like some of the very best stuff you can, this is the PC for you. If you want to go, this will play any game. Like any game that I've tried to play, I've been able to play it at 2K resolution, over 60 frames per second, usually at like 120 to 144. Even higher than that if you run around lower settings. I do max settings on everything. Haven't had any issues. So this PC is absolutely amazing. I love it. But the next one we're going to look at is if you are just completely bonkers, lost your mind, have tons to spend on a PC. This is $2,719. This is, I tried to find like the best PC that you could even make. This one has a 2080 Ti, which is like way better. It's like a 20% increase on the 2080 that I have right now. It also has an Intel i9 9900K, which is just crazy. This will edit videos super fast. do any gaming that you want to do for like the next 6 to 7 years. Like this thing is absolutely bonkers. 16 gigs of DDR4, 2 terabytes of hard disk drive, and 480 gigabytes of SSD. And it's liquid cooled, so you don't have to worry about it overheating ever. Comes with Wi-Fi, comes with everything. This PC is like top of the line, the best that you can get. Now, a lot of you guys might be wondering why I didn't show any PCs from companies like HP and Dell and other companies like that. Maybe I didn't show any Alienware PCs in this. Nothing like that. Well, that is because those are not good for gaming, because you buy it and it comes bloated with all this bloatware. It has tons of like programs built into it. The HP or Dell or Alienware, which is also made by Dell, is trying to get you to use their programs, so they just load it full of programs, and you spend so long taking out those programs, and like you also pay for that name of Dell or HP or Alienware especially. You're paying a lot for the name. I do not recommend any of those 3 brands when you're looking for a gaming PC. I went with iBUYPOWER. I've had no issues. If you want to build a PC, check out my live streams down in the description. I have all the parts for mine. Or you could check out this PC and copy the parts over and build it yourself. But if you build it yourself, currently it's not really saving you any money. Unfortunately, this is just the way the prices are right now. This costs only like, I think, $100 less to build it yourself than to buy it pre-built. This one comes with mouse and keyboard. You're going to want to upgrade this mouse and keyboard, but it does come with it. I recommend you guys go around this $899 mark if you are just wanting to get into PC gaming, and maybe you have a way to get a PC and you have the money but you don't know which one to buy. This is the one for you. If you are new to PC gaming, this will last you a long time. It will play any game you want it to play. It may not run on the very highest settings on above 60 frames per second, but it will run every game out there that you could find on Steam or on Epic Game Store, anything. So thank you guys for watching. If you have any further questions, like if you guys want any suggestions on any certain PCs that you're thinking about getting, I recommend these. But if you have other ones that you're asking me if they're okay, put that down in the comments, guys. I will respond to the comments, and I'll try to do my research and look into those PCs for you and let you know if they're good enough to play Fortnite and other games on. So one more time, if you just want to play Fortnite on PC, 720p, this is the computer for you. This one or this one. Both of these the first 2 links I'll have in my description are for playing on 720p. After that, we get to streaming and playing on 1080, 60 plus FPS, probably up to 120 FPS. And then after that, we get to like dual monitors, 1080p, almost like 2K gaming on a single monitor. And then we have what I have, and this runs a 2K monitor at 144 Hertz, and it runs a 1080p monitor at 60 Hertz. This, 2K monitor at 144 frames per second, and a 1080p monitor at 60 frames per second. It's an amazing PC. Man, my words. And then we have the crazy one. So you guys let me know what you think. All the links for all these PCs are in the description. Check them out. See if they're good enough for you guys. I did a lot of research on this. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy this. I'll be putting out a new one of these every about 6 months as computers update and new parts come out. So please stay up to date. If you guys want to catch me on my stream, I usually stream every other day. On weekdays, it'll be like after 5 or so o'clock p.m. Mountain Time. And then on weekends, it could be anytime. It's kind of just like a surprise stream. Again, thank you guys for watching. You guys are awesome. Have a great day, and stay positive.